All right. Bismillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. In the name of Allah. May the peace and blessing of Allah be upon His final messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, as a review, inshallah ta'ala, we're just going to go through the Matn Abi Shuja to review the main points, inshallah. So, Bismillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. In the name of Allah, may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon His final messenger Muhammad. So, we are on page 53, okay? We're going to go through the book of fasting, right, from the ultimate conspectus, inshallah. And then we will get to some of the proofs for these points, inshallah. And then we will have the recommended measures for fasting, inshallah, from Umdat al-Salik. Okay, so we'll be using references from three different books, from Matn Abi Shuja, from At-Tahdhib, which is the proofs for the Matn Abi Shuja, At-Tahdhib fi Adillah, the proofs of Matn Abi Shuja, and from Reliance of the Traveler, Umdat al-Salik. Okay, so number one, Shara'id Wujub as-Siyam. Arba, the conditions for who should fast, who is obligated to fast: the Muslim, the mature, sound mind, and al-qadir, the one able. Okay, these are the four. So it's good to remember that. Like if somebody says, if somebody asks you, right? Somebody asks you, I have this ailment, I need to take medication, and the doctor said that I'm not going to be able to, I can't cut the schedule, change the schedule of my medication. So now what would you say if you're asked? So now the conditions of those that are allowed to fast are those that are able. This person sounds like he or she does not have the ability, right? So therefore, what would be your response? Brother Charles, what would be your response?
That the person wouldn't be able to fast.
The person shouldn't fast. You can advise
That
them.
they
Hey,
shouldn't
you,
fast.
you
Yeah.
know, like if this condition, right? So if the person says, you ask the person, I feel like I'm not able to fast. Why? I take this medication. Well, did you ask your doctor to see if you can modify the schedule? They say no. Okay, then do that. That's first step, right? Do that. If they say they can't modify the schedule, and it'll be then you shouldn't fast. If they say you can't, you need to take the medication because it will be harmful for you to not take it, is a life risk if it's a terminal illness, or um, it will delay a temporary sickness, the cure of a temporary sickness. Okay? So I want us to think like that. Like, sometimes you will be able to answer questions. Okay? You'll be able to answer questions without, within the boundaries, right? So it's just like the idea of this class is to help us, when you get really familiar with the text, right? And then with getting familiar with the explanation, then inshallah ta'ala that will help you, right? And then if you have any questions, or there's something that's not clear, you can ask me, right? All right. So let's inshallah, let's continue. The obligatory actions: number one, the intention, and number two, al-imsak min al-muftarat. Okay, abstaining from that which invalidates your fast. Okay, abstaining from that which invalidates your fast. Assalamu alaikum, you made it. I thought maybe you were still in the event. I'm like, yeah, you can close it. It's okay, inshallah. So, you ate well, everything good? I have some of these if you want from the event. Alhamdulillah. So we're on page 53. we're going through the reviewing, going through the text briefly in English, right? And for us to learn how to practically use it, right? Like according to the school, like we're saying, like let's say um, if somebody asks, should my child who is has not gone through adolescence, should he fast? Right? The direct answer is a yes or no answer. No, right? But you can teach them and you can prepare them, but you should teach them the ruling too. A mistake that sometimes parents make is that, and alhamdulillah, we all make mistakes. It's not like, subhanAllah, we're all parents being a parent is a whole learning curve, right? We make mistakes and we can't take them back, right? So we just continue to try to do the good and continue to do the good now and continue doing it, right? But the question is, sometimes we we in our wording, we indicate to our child that you have to fast, right? And mom and dad will get upset if you don't fast, right? So now child wants to please mom or dad, right? Later on, the child grows up and gets to understand the religion and then begins to question the authority. And usually in their teen period of time, they begin to question the authority of mom and dad, right? So that's why the knowledge is important, so that when we tell them, like, I want you to fast so that you can practice and train, right? Though the ruling in Islam is that you're not obligated to fast, but I want you to learn so when you're obligated, you're prepared, right? Therefore, later on, that will not come back to us as parents, like, you told me I had to, right? And so on. The same thing with the hijab. We teach them, but we tell them when you reach adolescent, you should wear it, right? But we can't force them, right? We just try to teach them. Sometimes the girls, the girls, they wanna look up, they wanna imitate their mother, so they go ahead and they wear it, right? I want to wear it, but you don't have to. Like we say you don't have to wear it. No, but I want to wear it. So you try to make it difficult for them. Say you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. Basically using reverse psychology. So then they fight and say, no, but I want to do it. See that? Like, it's like, let's say you bought this little crystal tree for your daughter, and you bought it, and she left it there 1 month, 2 months. It's in the same place. Or maybe it's a toy that you play with, 3 months, and it's not even touched, right? Then you come one day and say, you know what? I'm going to take this and give it to someone else because you're not even playing with it. What would the child say? No, it's mine, right? Once you take something from someone, they'll fight you for it. But sometimes you see the same toy in the same spot in the floor, you step on it all the time, but when you say, if you don't pick it up, I'm going to take it, they'll pick it up, they'll organize it. Anyway, so in religion, we should be clear about this is the ruling in Islam. And if you don't do it, mom and dad will get upset because we want the best for you. So you distinguish between Islam and mom and dad, right? So that they can know that, because sometimes, you know, some kids have come to me and the girl started wearing hijab and now the parents don't want her to wear hijab, and they make it difficult on me and so on. So now what can I say? So this is just practically how to utilize these tools, okay? So for example, we said if somebody's sick, and these conditions. So the four conditions are, go ahead, Brother Rashid, what are the four conditions for those that should fast? Yalla, Brother Rashid, unmute yourself. I know I'm going fast.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I was just eating. I apologize. That's what I
You know, I'm holding my
Ketika mucho
next.
hambre
I'm
ahora.
holding my next bite. Okay, so
I can read it. You say the fasting in the month of Ramadan is obligatory when four conditions are met: a Muslim, mature, of sound mind, and able to fast.
good. So we said if somebody comes to you now, you're like the person that is have the opportunity to help someone. You know these conditions, right? You know these conditions. So that's why it's good to review them. It's easy. Muslim, mature, sound mind, able. Muslim, mature, sound mind, able. You practice it like that. Muslim, mature, sound mind, able. Muslim, mature, sound mind, able. So now you see somebody tells you, I am sick, I have to take medication, and I don't know if I'm able to fast. Right? So what is the first step? What is the first recommendation that you give?
Ask them if they are able to not take it after checking with their doctor.
So first go check with your doctor.
Correct.
And see if the doctor says that they can modify the schedule of your medication, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, if they say they can't and it's risky and you need to take the medication, then therefore, if it's a terminal illness, then you don't need to fast and you don't need to make it up. So you will do the fidya. You will give a feeding for every day, right? You give a feeding for every day, for the month, for 30 poor people, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like $300 to $350, right? Now as the things are getting more expensive, right? We got to take all that in consideration. So then, if the person says the doctor's able to modify my medicine schedule, then you should take that option and fast. Right? A person that's able to that it's a temporary illness, and then they if they fast, the fasting delays their cure, or the fasting causes them harm. It worsens their sickness, right? And it's temporary. Then you tell them, break the fast, and when you get better, then you make it up. Okay? If a person wants to do fidya and feed, that's fine during Ramadan, so they can do that as well. The more the better. But you don't have to. Yes.
So does the fidya need to be given in Ramadan only?
Yeah, so for example, it can be given like you could do in the beginning of Ramadan. If you know is that your attempt is a permanent illness, then a person can donate it in the beginning of Ramadan, and usually they bring it to the mosque, right? And this is fidya, and it gets distributed for the poor, right? When somebody comes and needs Imam Dani, I don't have money to buy groceries for my suhoor and my iftar, right? Then we facilitate. So that's one way. Or if we know a family, right? So it's all about relationship. So those are the conditions. So that if we know these rules, these rulings, then it's easy to apply them, right? The proofs. Then if somebody says, "What's the proof?" You could then message me, Imam Daniel. What's the proof for this? I'll give you the hadith. I'll give you the information, right? Or that's a good way of use of taking notes. All right. Then there are four obligations, right? Four obligatory actions for fasting, or the pillars of fasting, and niyyah, the intention, right? The intention. And some say you can make the intention in the night, right? As you're getting ready to go to sleep, make the intention to fast. There is a benefit. There's a benefit of making the intention to fast the next day. The benefit is you don't know if you're going to wake up the next day. So if you make the intention, you get rewarded for fasting. Yes.
So can I make an intention? Some people, they say, oh, in the beginning of the month,
Yes.
I say, oh Allah, I intend to fast all the 29, 30 days
Yes.
of Ramadan,
Yeah.
if I'm physically able to. But for some reason, if I am not able to, I'm going to skip and make it up.
Yeah. All you have to do is you intend to fast. Anything happens, then Allah knows. So you don't have to. You make the intention. I'm gonna fast, right? I'm gonna fast as long as I'm able, right? So you can make the intention at the beginning of the month. It's good, they recommend sometimes in the evening at night or before you start. Like for example, during suhoor time, you're making the intention. You're eating. That's your actions are leading to that intention. You're preparing suhoor. You're putting the alarm to wake up early. All of these different actions. So number one is the intention, right? The intention that is only for Allah, right? And
Right.
number two is abstaining from eating, drinking, right? Eating and drinking, and marital relations. Number three, and inducing, like, inducing vomit, like it's not involuntary. Okay, so those are the obligatory aspects of fasting, right? The obligatory aspects are four: intention, abstaining from drink and food, abstaining from marital relations, and abstaining from inducing vomit, right? Those are the four, right? So if somebody says, I involuntarily, like something came out, I didn't swallow, I just spit it out, but I didn't induce it. It's just like I burped and something, a little bit came out, and I just spit it out. You didn't force it. Induce means you put your finger in your mouth and you vomit, right? So you didn't force it, it just came out. Instead, if you swallow it, right, then you break your fast. So you spit it out, right? So you didn't do, so that doesn't invalidate your fast. What are the things that invalidates your fast? Intentionally reaching a body cavity. Yes.
What about natural vomiting though? For example, for the morning meal, I ate something and at 12 o'clock noon, I just naturally, does that break the fast?
The thing, the thing, the thing is about inducing it or involuntary. You understand? Like if you induced it, if you involuntarily do it, sometimes you get sick. Sometimes sometimes you're still sick and you want to fast. Sometimes you have, let's say, you have a cold, like a strong cold, right? And one of the symptoms you're vomiting, right? But you still want to fast, right? You can still continue. It's not that's induced by the cold. It's not induced by you want to get that vomit out.
Fast is still valid.
It's still valid, yes. So here, intentionally reaching the cavities, right, of the body, right? Um, then you have number two, the insertion of something, for example, in what does it say in Arabic? Just بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصل عمدا إلى جوف والرأس والحقن وفي أحد السابلين. So it mentions أحد السابلين means from the, so like if you put something in the rear or in the front, then that invalidates your fast, right? والحقنة الحقنة في أحد السابلين والقي عمدا and intentionally vomiting والوطء عمدا في الفرج, right? When you consciously have marital relations, okay? Let's say you were sleeping and you intentionally began to engage in marital relations and then you realized it. That wasn't intentional. Intentional comes with like preparation, you're thinking about it, right? So that's not intentional. Same thing like the Prophet ﷺ would wake up and he would be in a state of janaba and Fajr entered and he's junub. And now, can he fast? Yes, because he was junub before. He was impure from marital relations, right? So he was in a state of ritual major impurity. Let's put it like that. He wasn't impure. He was impure from a ritual major impurity. So he would take a shower and fast. That's it, right? So then also ejaculation resulting from skin contact, right? That means if it's, just to be clear, like masturbation, right? During your fast, it breaks your fast, right? Because it's desires and you're inducing it, okay? This goes for both genders, right? So postnatal bleeding, right? Postnatal bleeding, menstruation invalidates your fast. Postnatal bleeding, right? So for menstruation and postnatal bleeding, you make up the fast, but you don't have to make up the prayers. Also, a person that lacks sound mind. I don't like using the word. I know it's junun. I don't like using the word insanity because there's many different grades. A person who does not have a sound mind based on a medical determination, right? And a person who leaves Islam, right? That person's that invalid. If a person is fasting and says, you know what, I don't even believe we have to pray. I don't believe it. I should pray. I don't believe I should pay zakat. I don't believe in zakat. Then you're not a Muslim because you have left one of the main pillars of Islam. A pillar, a pillar is that which cannot be done without. Okay. Now, what are the recommended actions? Right. I'm gonna give you some here, but I'm gonna go into Umdat al-Salik just for us to continue what we were doing last week as well. يستحب في الصوم ثلاثة أشياء: تعجيل الفطر وتأخير السحور وترك الهجر من الكلام. Right, so three things are recommended in the Matn Abi Shuja, in the ultimate conspectus, is when Maghrib enters and is proven by time. You look at Sheikh Google and it said sunset time is at this time, right? They already did the study, right? The sunset, the prayer schedule set, the prayer schedule, the prayer calendar, or the app, or it says that adhan is at this time. That means Maghrib entered. So you make the dua and you break your fasts. Ta'jil, meaning you don't delay the breaking of the fast. It should be like right away. But don't just eat and skip the dua. Like take that moment, make dua and eat. Right? I mean, some people like to delay 5 minutes more, just to be sure. If all of these things are proof that is sunset entered, we do it all the time. Like we never question it all year whether it's Maghrib time for Salah. We never question it. So why are we going to make it an issue only in Ramadan? Right? And when it's time, oh, Imam Daniel, Iqamah time. There's time to start. It says, 1 minute left. Okay. And then we have to pray, right? We don't delay. Let's wait 5 more minutes, right? No, all year, no. So therefore, let's go by the same equation and let's follow the sunnah of ta'jil al-fitr wa ta'khir al-suhur. So the question is, how many, I mentioned it last week, how many ayats, the companion said, that you can read for between the time of stopping for suhoor, for the time to stop suhoor, from fajr, between fajr and suhoor. How many times? How much time?
That was like about 2 pages.
Good. How many ayats? In the hadith it mentions ayats.
I think it was 50.
Good. 50. 50 ayats. So I mentioned 2 pages, like from Juz Tabarak, Surah Al-Naba, 40 ayats. And then the other part of Surah Al-Nazi'at, that's 2 pages. 1 page approximately takes to read 5 minutes. Right? So that means 2 pages. So that means 10 minutes. You can stop 10 minutes prior to the adhan of Fajr. But let's say you wake up and it's 5 minutes. You can still eat and drink. And what I mentioned last night in my talk in mouth was plan ahead. Have a cup ready the day before. of water, put 3 dates, take the seeds out, leave them overnight in room temperature so that the whole water can become golden, like brownish yellow or golden. Because the Prophet ﷺ used to love that drink. Put a little bit of honey if you can, right? And leave it there. You can put it even next to your bed. And you drink it. It's very good, mashallah, for the acid reflux when you're fasting. It's very good. I used to have acid reflux, and I started doing it every Ramadan, just like having it ready. That's my drink with my suhoor. And then you eat 3 dates, right? So that's in addition. And any dates, because even the ajwa, that's hard, becomes soft. But if you do it overnight, if you're short on time and you forgot, then put it, you could do it with milk too. Put it with milk and put it like 1 minute in the microwave. Heat the milk well with the dates, and then with a fork just blend it or something. There's different ways, but plan ahead. Plan ahead. Alhamdulillah. So, mashallah, mashallah. So then,
I had one question though in regards to their intentions.
yes, sir.
People, even when they make the salat, you hear people making the intentions, but intentions, I was understood that they are not verbal except for at one time, and that's when you enter in Masjid Haram. All other times they are like silent or quiet intentions.
Brother Rashida, you're bringing up some heavy stuff, man.
That's well, you said intentions. I was because I didn't hear it now.
You didn't hear me clarify that point, right?
Alhamdulillah.
No, you're right. You're good. You're good. You're good. MashaAllah. So I just want to go through Bismillah briefly. All right. One second. So in regards of the intention, Brother Rashid, the intention, النية محلها القلب. Okay? The intention, the place is the heart. The question is it permissible for a person to say the intention loud? It is permissible for a person to say the intention loud if they need to. Some people, they need to hear themselves. They need to hear to make sure, like, I am praying dhuhr. You understand? If that's a need, then ma fish mushkila, there's no problem, right? It's better to keep it silent, but it's not forbidden to pronounce it. It's not forbidden to pronounce it. Yes.
For the morning meal, let's say the Fajr time starts at 5:20 and I finish eating at 5:19.
You're good. You're good until the adhan enters, right? You're good until the adhan enters. So now, yeah, you're good until the adhan enters. So I want to just go to the recommended actions, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yeah. So now, recommended action, we mentioned the pre-dawn meal. The Prophet ﷺ said that tasaharu fa'inna suhoor. This is in Umdat al-Ahkam. فَإِنَّ السُّهُورِ baraka. Inna lis-suhoor baraka. So suhoor, the making of suhoor, is تسحروا فإن في السحور بركة عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله تعالى عنه. Eat suhoor because in the suhoor there's blessing, there's barakah. So eating that meal, even if you only get to eat those 3 days, it's blessed by Allah, right? And the fact that you intended to fast, right? It's blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anas ibn Malik also said, and Zayd ibn Thabit radiallahu anhuma, تسحلنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم قام إلى الصلاة. We made suhoor and then we stood up for prayer. Okay? Right? So that, it doesn't mention his face. Like we made suhoor and let's say they adhan iqam and they prayed. Right? So that could be implied. But then وقال أنس وقلت لزيد, I told Zayd, كم بين الأذان والسهور. How much time between the adhan and suhoor? Or between suhoor and the adhan. So Zayd said, Zayd ibn Thabit said, قدروا 50 آية. The amount of 50 ayats. Okay? And Aisha radiallahu anha said, أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يدركه الفجر وهو جنوب من أهله ثم يغتسل ويصوم. That's what I mentioned about that he was junub, and then this inshallah we'll cover these hadith next time inshallah, all of the hadith from fasting. So the pre-dawn meal, even if it is a little bit, even if it's just water, right? And the time, when does the suhoor, should the suhoor begin, or when is it recommended to begin? In the time of like the Hajjud, like midnight, the middle of the night, right? The middle of the night, it is best to delay it just before Fajr, as long as one does not apprehend the Fajr or while he's eating. Now, if when you have something in your mouth and the adhan is called, then you just take whatever or spit whatever you have in your mouth, rinse your mouth, rinse everything out, and that's it. Let's say during Salah, after you rinse your mouth, you still feel like there's something left. ما فيش مشكلة. You already did your part. You took it out, you rinsed your mouth, and something remained. Just don't swallow it. Don't suck the little flavor that it remains, right? Don't take advantage of that little bit, right? Because then actions are judged by their intention, right? So therefore the suhoor. And it's best to hasten into breaking the fast when one is certain that the sun has set. One should break it with odd number of dates, right? Odd number 3, 1, 3, 5, right? Though one has none, water is best, right? So just of these there's narrations about these things. Just as, and this that I'm telling you is coming from the fatwas and the fatawas of Imam al-Rafi'i in the Shafi school and Imam al-Nawawi, which Ahmed Naqib al-Masri took from their books and put it together in this one book that we have called Umdat al-Salik, or Reliance of the Traveler, right? So, and say after doing so, oh Allah, when you break the fast, Allahumma laka sumt wa la rizquka aftart. Allahumma, let's practice it, all right? Even if you're muted, but just practice it. Allahumma, very simple dua. Allahumma laka sumt, right? Oh Allah, for you I fasted. Allahumma laka sumt. Oh Allah, for you I fasted. Allahumma laka sumt. Wa ala rizqika aftart. Wa ala rizqika aftart. And from your provisions I have broken my fast. Allahumma laka sumt wa ala rizquka aftart. There's other du'as. The authentic one, ذهب الظماء وابتلع الأروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. There's another dua. اللهم لك صمت وبك آمنت وعليك توكلت وعلى رزقك أفطرت. Right? It says, so this one, the one that is
What
recommended
was,
here. Yes.
I'm sorry, Mom. What was the last part of the first dua?
Good.
That
Allah.
Allahumma lakasum.
Good. Yes. So this is what I'm gonna do, Brother Charles. I'm not gonna charge you guys extra. Okay. Look, I'm gonna write it in transliteration, right? In the chat, right?
Okay.
Allahumma laka. It put lake. This correction is driving me crazy. Allahumma laka sumt, right? Sumtu wa ala rizqika aftart. Aftart. Good. Right?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Imam.
Allah. Good. For you, I fasted, and from your provision, I broke my fast. It's called break fast. See that? It's not, see, break fast. Right? But don't worry, don't take it as I'm saying breakfast. Imam Daniel said iftar is breakfast. It's break fast. Separate it. All right. Now, it is recommended in Ramadan to be generous, to be given, to give charity. All right? The Prophet ﷺ كان أجود الناس, was the most generous. وكان أجود في Ramadan, and he was the most generous in Ramadan. And here generosity can be giving, charity, can be giving iftar, can be helping someone, can be volunteering in the masjid, right? Can be, let's say, controlling in the weekends. You know, it gets hectic in Mao, for example, and you want to help control the traffic. Then you volunteer. If everyone just says, I don't want to sacrifice my prayer, my taraweeh, my this, right? Then nobody will do it. And you never know. Sometimes you have a child running out and gets hit by a latecomer, right? While everybody's praying, and it happened in Houston. I did the janazah for a 5-year-old in Ramadan, right? So it happens. So someone has to sacrifice, or we pay for an outside non-Muslim security company, right? Or so to manage, right? But there's an opportunity to get hasanat, right? To get good deeds by volunteering. Like today, I'm going to come to the masjid and I'm just going to get my volunteer in distributing the iftar, right? I'm going to volunteer and look, and if let's say there's shoe racks that are empty, I'm going to take the shoes and I'm going to put them in the racks. And then I'm going to tell Imam Daniel, there were too many shoes on the floor. I'll give the reminder, somebody puts them in the rack, and, people will feel a little bit embarrassed that they were lazy to not just pick them up and put them in the rack. Like, if we work as a team, like, if nobody picks them up or nobody communicates, then we can't we can't improve our community. That's the way we improve it. It's not by humiliating. It's by like working together. Like if you do it, it's not like, oh, why should I do it? No, alhamdulillah. Sometimes I see a pair of shoes. Why do I pick it up? There might be an elderly. You thought, I don't want to pick it up. I'm not responsible for it. I'm going to go pray. The person should be ashamed. What about if you didn't pick it up and an elderly person fell? What about if that person then ends up suing the masjid? Right? Are we going to go? The person might end up walking home with no shoes just to not claim and be accused. It's just like all these things can be avoided. So the good deeds can be also like the Prophet, like it said, Aisha said that he was most generous in Ramadan when he also used to meet with Jibreel and review the Quran, read the Quran. So he was also generous in his time given to the Quran. So generosity is not just giving charity, like giving monetary charity. It's all these different acts, smiling, like just walk in and smile at every person that you give salams to, right? That's sadaqah, it's charity. Somebody's like really like moody and upset. Use your wisdom and just find a way to break that anger or that seriousness with some kind of joke or something. How you doing? Assalamu alaikum. Long time no see. Just like, make somebody feel good. That's the person. Remember, man, everybody saw me upset. Nobody said anything. I went to the masjid, I prayed. I tried to get the relief in salah, and then I left. But we should also, as a community, give relief. Right? That's, then we have reciting the Quran. So here, reciting the Quran much, spending periods of time, like improving one's relationship. Right? Tilawat al-Quran mentions as-silat al-rahim, maintaining family ties. All right, maintaining family ties, meaning that make your Ramadan a family experience with wisdom gradually, this and that. Let's sit down. There's one hadith. We're going to eat together. Can you read this hadith today? And that's it, in Arabic and English. Simple. That's it. No lengthy stuff. But if you do it, that means at the end of the month, as a family, you can celebrate. MashaAllah, we completed fasting. We completed reading 30 hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Right? And if you have to, sometimes can I read another one? Sometimes the kids do that. And then you might add a little bit more. And let's say you set your goal at 40, but you aim at 30. If you aim 40, then you say the hadith, though it's weak, but there's many narrations that can support it, is whoever learns 40 hadith from my ummah will be raised amongst the scholars, amongst the prophets, amongst the shuhada. Right? So there's benefit. Then you can tell them, do you know what it is? You bring that 41 hadith. There's one hadith to tell you that what you did, this is a reward that you can get. And they didn't expect it. If you said in the beginning, no, I don't want to do 30 hadith, it's too much. But you do one by one. Right? Easy. It just takes 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. Okay, read, okay, Bismillah. Okay, put it down, let's eat. Like if you start with reflection, everybody reflects, it takes longer. And then they don't want to do it a second time. Right? So it's just ways of connecting with your family and the deen and Ramadan. Reciting the Quran, spending times in i'tikaf, right? But also in the Shafi madhab, if you go with the intention that you're gonna go between Asr and you say, I'm gonna stay from Asr to Isha, to Tarawih, and you make intention for i'tikaf. Like all you're gonna do is you're gonna stay in the masjid. You're gonna worship. You're gonna read Quran. You're gonna make dhikr. You're gonna make istighfar. You're gonna renew your wudu. You're gonna just engage in some worship. But it doesn't mean that you can't come out. You can also, you're in the masjid, you can help out, pre-Ramadan preparation. Sometimes somebody needs to move something, right? So it's just, you get the reward for that as well throughout the month. Besides the 10 nights that is from the time for itikaf, the itikaf for the 10 nights. Also breaking fast, to break the fast of others, which means that you provide the feeding, that you give them. That, let's say somebody's going to break their fast, and you give them a date. You wait at the entrance before the adhan. Hey, brother, this is your date, so you can break fast. Make dua, but make dua for me too. You just do that and forget about it. Just do it. It's something that you will get the reward for their breaking a fast and you're breaking a fast, right? So that's beneficial as well. And also providing a meal, right? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Also, if you're in a state of janaba, making ghusl, but you making the intention. I am not just taking a shower because I'm ritually impure. Allah, I am making this ghusl for your sake, right? And try to do the ghusl with the sunnah aspect of the ghusl. What is the sunnah aspect of the ghusl? Before the ghusl, what is it? Intention. Okay, what else? You make wudu before. If you want to make it interesting, you think about when you're going to be buried, right? So that's the ghusl. When we wash somebody when they're dead, when we wash them, right? Sister Shireen, since you do for the sisters, inshallah, can you briefly share with us? I know we have like 7 minutes. Can you share with us just the steps of the ghusl?
Yes. So you wash the body from any kind. Oh wait, we're talking about the ghusl of the just regular
Mates.
Okay, so you wash the body of any najas, right? First, and as you're washing the body of any najas, if the body is cold and stiff, you slowly loosen the joints, and then we help the body void any fecal matter. So massage the belly in a circular motion from the left to the right, up all the way over and then down again, right? As if we are doing the function of the large colon, of the large.
Yeah.
And then we sit her up and we push down and we continue the circular motion at least 3 times. Unless we know that the sister hasn't eaten in, like, say, 10 days, then we don't expect much of the void. Right. But and then 3 times, if she's done and there's nothing else that's coming out of the body, then we continue the ghusl If there's still more fecal matter or anything else coming out, then we continue that process until for another so another 2 times, until we're done. Then we wash the body with baby shampoo because subhanallah, the skin begins to degrade once death happens. So it's very sensitive and very fragile a body part now. So we don't want the body to bleed. Right? And so we used rags, like a little wash rag.
So the wudu part, right? So we start with the wudu, right?
Yes, we start with wudu first, and then we do after we have any of the soiling to be done. We actually empty all of that out and then wash the body 3 times, and the last time or 5 times, depending on if the najasa keeps on going. So the wudu is first. We always do the right hand and the left hand. Sometimes we try to do it together. If we have 2 sisters together, we'll say, okay, and we can bring her arms together. We'll do her hands together. We're very careful about putting water in the nose and the mouth. We use our fingers so that if any water goes into the body, again, it doesn't come out in a void. And then the last wash that we do is the misk. So it's
so usually we do, for example, we can do the wudu, right? The wudu. Also we don't put water in the mouth. We just wet the lips a little bit, right? Clean a little bit here. We don't put water inside the cavities, right? But then we do the wudu like step by step. But you could do the wudu step by step, right? All the steps of wudu, right? The face, and then once you do the wudu, then you wash, right? The right front side. You put soap on the front right side, right? You put soap on the front on the front left side, right? And then you rinse wash the right side, or that's for ghusl. Then the left side, or then the right back soap, and you rinse it, and then your left back soap, and you rinse it, and then you rinse the whole body. And you also wash the head where you put shampoo if you can, right? But the thing is, when you're making ghusl, think about that. Like, I want to make it like this because when I'm going to be buried, this is what's going to happen. So you make wudu. If you're pressed for time, taking a full shower, and if you take a shower, it counts because ghusl is greater than wudu. But this is just a sunnah. It's recommended to do it, right? A sunnah. So therefore, it's better. It's more complete, right? So you do the wudu first, and then you wash the right side, and then you wash the left side. And the last thing that you do is you wash your feet, right? You wash your feet and between the toes and so on. So it's good to kind of spiritually think of that reality, right? Because thinking about death puts in control and in check our desires, right? Our desires. It puts in reality. This is the reality, So very simple, very simple. So 6 things that were recommended. Number 1, to be generous in charity and in all types. Generous with your family, right? In reading Quran, right? To spend periods of time in the masjid, even if it's earlier than Taraweeh, right? Earlier, and you make intention to stay from Asr to Isha or the whole day, right? You make intention for itikaf, that you intended to just spend the time in the masjid the whole day. Then you get the reward for that. If you need to go out to buy something, it's okay. You make an intention. Like if you're hungry, or you want to get something that you usually eat for iftar, right? And you don't want to compromise your diet, or like you need to get an ingredient, and you just go and get it. Allah knows, right? You're not saying, no, khalas, then I'll just take whatever's there. No, Allah doesn't want you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. 1 second. When you do wash the feet at the time, or at the end. No, I mean typically they do it together. They do the whole right side, and we do it we do it as living. We do it at the end because we're getting out of the shower, right? But the disease is not going nowhere. So you can wash the feet and everything with the right side and the left side. Okay, so we said intention for itikaf, also helping others break fast because of the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, he who gives iftar to someone gets the same reward as the one who fasted without diminishing any reward, right? And the last one is when you're making ghusl, right? If you're in a state of janaba, is to make that intention for the sake of Allah and to really do it with ihsan, right? And in family relations, do it with ihsan, right? Recommended things to avoid. I thought salah was at 7, is not. It's actually at 7:30. We have a window. So no, alhamdulillah. So recommended things to avoid. Recommended things, right? وترك الغيبة والكذب والفحش دائما ولكن يتأكد تحرمها حق الصائم. So generally, these things are haram by ruling outside of fasting. But for fasting, the hukum is lighter, meaning that is makruh, that you should it's disliked. The action is disliked. If you abandon it, you get rewarded for abandoning it. But if you do it, it will not break your fast unless you're just like if it's a mistake. It's like let's say I converted to Islam and I am still used to cursing in every sentence. It's just normal. It's like I breathe, right? And I'm still not disciplined yet, and I'm fasting, right? So would that break my fast? No, right? You're trying, right? As long as you're consciously, you know that, oh, astaghfirullah, I made a mistake, right? Like that, that's okay. So that's why it mentions recommended things to avoid. وهي محرمة دائما ولكن يتأكد تحريمها في حق الصائم, right? Also, الشهوات التي لا تبطل الصوم. So here, the pleasure of the senses do not break the fast, like smelling fragrance, right? Some people, when they're fasting, they will dress nice, they will wear musk, and they will, take a shower, look awake, right? So that they don't display that they're fasting. They
Ma'am
look better.
Daniel,
Yes.
what is so when we were in Medina, they don't turn on bukhur or light bukhur. So what's the difference between the itr and the bukhur for breaking your fast? Is it because of the smoke?
Smoke, correct. Yeah,
Okay.
because of the smoke. Yeah. So, but the thing, so here also, so you can use oils, so like smelling fragrant plants, or looking at them with gratification, right? Also, uh, also recommended is to put perfume during the day of fasting, right? Or in the night before. It doesn't hurt. Also, recommended. So what it means is no. What it means is like this, like no. So they mention it's recommended. It's recommended not to use perfume. Malish. Recommended not to use all of the. But this is just mustahabat recommendations. Okay, a recommendation. But it does not hurt the night before. Outside of Ramadan, it's okay. Like in Shaban and other days. Also, donating blood, right? Now, cupping, it depends. on the person, right? If it if it weakens the person and it affects the person as fast, then it's better to avoid it, right? Also recommend. Also, when somebody abuses you or curses you or disrespects you, it's better to say, "I'm fasting." Like, don't jeopardize your fast for no one else, right? Don't jeopardize your fast for someone else. Now,
Okay, did I hear you right? No oils when you're fasting?
no, what it means is like don't like limit these things that you desire. Limit these things you desire. Why? Because like the Prophet ﷺ said, the breath of the fasting person is pleasing to Allah. Is in comparison, right? So that's why it's just these are recommended things. Like it's not haram to leave them. Okay? Remember, what is the ruling of the sunnah? The mustahabbat. Things that are mustahab. There's three words for it. Mustahab, sunnah, mandub. Mustahab, sunnah, mandub. It means the same, recommended. If you do them, you get rewarded. If you avoid them, you don't get sins. Okay? So this is recommended to avoid. This is recommended if you, the action that is saying to avoid, meaning if you avoid it, right, you get rewarded. But if you don't avoid it, you don't get sin. Okay? So like I'm a person that I just all the time when I'm coming to pray, coming to the masjid, I have to put some oil. That's just my my habit. It's just I want to smell good for Allah. That's it.
Yeah,
Right?
almost like after every wudu, because you wash off. Because you just put like a little dab, and then by the time you make wudu, you put another dab, and then you go make salat.
Yeah,
That's like a very common thing.
but there's some oil, Brother Rashid, that it takes a number of wudu for it to be like the patchouli. Like it takes a number like that. Like there's some utr
Yeah,
that
man, smooth 93.
put it, you made wudu, and you sleep and you still and you make tarawih, and
Yeah,
you shake all these hands, and it's still you have like a coat, and you still breathe that
yeah.
the
That's my
smell,
smooth. That's
and it smells
93.
better than when
Yeah.
you put it on.
No, no.
Right? So, alhamdulillah. So it's, yeah, so I mean, I always, that's just my habit. Like, it's just, I like to do it. I'm praying next to someone. I want to make sure that I smell good next to my brother, right? Oh, and sister to sister, right? Also, things that are unlawful during fasting, right? Kissing, kissing your spouse, right? If it arouses your desire, like it just like leads from point A to point Z, like and you exaggerate in it. No, like if a person can't control the desire to give like a kiss, a goodbye, I'm going to the masjid, ma fish muskila, is no problem, right? But to kiss in a way that is leading towards other things, then it's unlawful to do. It's unlawful to do wisal. Wisal, wow, Wisal. Wisal. Wisal is continuous fast, meaning that you fasted and you didn't break it fast, and you go to the next day, you fast again. Right? That's unlawful. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, if a person, let's say, breaks his continues and let's say at night drinks some water, then that's not continue. That's not wisal because it's broken by the water. Okay, um, the Prophet ﷺ used to do wisal, and the companions asked him, I believe is in the hadith. Let me just find it, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As-Sawm was Safar. Bismillah. All right, I owe you that hadith. So here, the Prophet ﷺ, here it is. Right. I guess I'll give it to you now. It was related and Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. No, it was Abdullah bin Amr and another one by Abu Hurairah. Said, قال نهى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن الوصال. قالوا يا رسول الله إنك تواصل. قال إني لست كهيئتكم إني أطعم وأسقى. Meaning, he says, I'm not like you. Allah feeds me and Allah gives me to drink. Allah provides for me. Abu Huraira relates, and Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, and Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, they all relate a similar hadith. And Imam Muslim relates it by Abi Sa'id al-Khudri. فَأَيُّكُمْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يُوَاصِلُوا فَلْيُوَاصِلُوا إِلَى السُّهُورِ. Right, if somebody wants to, let's say, not break his, break his fast, and break it before the suhoor. But again, the Prophet ﷺ said you shouldn't do it. Better to do the rushing delaying the suhoor and rushing the iftar, right? So we'll go back to that thing. So he forbade the wisal. Also, it is makruh. It is makruh to taste food. To taste food. Can somebody tell me about the siwak? The siwak is on page Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm almost there. I'll give you the page number because I want to make it easy for you. And I'm going to get the hasanat for making it easy for you. All right, so page 5, 1.4. When is it recommended not to use, when it is disliked to use the siwak?
Ustad?
Yes.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
I was going to say, so it's after the zawal while you're fasting. That's when it's
Good.
makruh, right?
Good,
And then
good. So, go ahead.
I was going to say, I had a question. I'm not sure there's a Q&A session after this.
Yeah,
but-
we'll do it. But so
Okay.
the text says, وَالسِّوَاكُ مُسْتَحَبُّ لِكُلِّ حَالٍ إِلَّا بَعْدِ زَوَالِ لِلصَّائِمِ وَهُوَ فِي ثَلَاثَةِ مَوَادِعَ أَشَدُّ اسْتِحْبَابًا عند تغير الفم, when the breath changes. So it says the siwak is recommended under all circumstances, except for the fasting person after dhuhr. إلا بعد الزوال, when the entering of dhuhr. للصائم, but it is 3 times that is highly recommended. عند تغير الفم من عزم وغيره, عند قيام من النوم, when you wake up from sleep, وعند القيام إلى الصلاة, and when you stand up to pray. Okay, so go ahead, sister Mariah, can you please go ahead and ask the question, inshallah.
Okay, so it has to do with like someone brought up the smoke issue, I think not too long ago. So I mean, that's the question. So like some houses I went to, especially like when I first became Muslim, like they were burning like incense in like the corner. I don't know, like I've heard from some that like if you're not breathing it directly, it's okay. But like what if it like and then I've heard from others that like if it has like a body like like incense and you inhale directly, it's breaks your fast. Like what's going on? I guess.
let 1 second. uh, Bismillah. No, I'll give you the opinions, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, it seems like some, like I said, like some are like if it has a body and you're breathing it in directly, but I'll
Yeah,
let you.
yeah, yeah. I get, don't worry, I get it. So, بمذهب
Okay.
الحنفي قال ورد المحتار ما معناه لو أدخل حلقه الدخان بأي صورة كان الإدخال حتى لو تبخر ببخور وآواه إلى نفسه واشتمه ذاكرة لصومه أفطر. Right? So in the Ahnaf, it says that if it does penetrate, right, the cavities, أفطر والإمكان تحرز عنه. وقال الشربلاني هذا مما يغفل عنه كثير من الناس فليتنبه له ولا يتوهم أنه كشم وردة والمسك ولوضوء الفرق بينها وطيب بالمسك والشم بين جوهر الدخان وصل إلى جوفه بفعله. So it mentions, yes, in the Ahnaf, in the Hanafi school, يعلم أن الاستنشاق استنشاق is breathing like washing the nose, right? استنشاق له يفسد الصوم أن شمه من غير استنشاق ولا قصد له يفسده وكذلك رواه الطيب أنه لا تفطره ومحل اتفاق قدر. So if a person doesn't go deep into breathing it, and it's just in the air, just light, and it's just smell, it's like musk, it's like oil, it doesn't invalidate your fast, right? Because that means then all the good smells, you go and you spray this, right, and it smells like bukhul. And no, what it means if you like intake a lot, like people overdo it and the house is full of smoke, then that's a different story. People light it up as well, right? During iftar, they light up the bukhul. Now that's according to the Ahnaf. Okay? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. والمالكية ويلاحظ اتفاق المالكية والأحناف في هذه الحكم ولم يرى الشافعي ضرر على الصوم من استنشاق البخور. So the difference is that in the Ahnaf and the Malikiya, they say if you take deep breath, then it breaks your fast. In the Shafi'iyya, it says it doesn't break your fast either way. Okay? In the Shafi'iyya, it doesn't break your fast either way, but it's recommended to avoid, but it doesn't break your fast. Right? So then it says, الإمساك عن no, الوصول والعين ما يسمى الجوف ذلك يسمى بخلاف وصل الأثر كالطعام والريح. This is عمدة السالك. Okay, yeah. تحفة المحتاج. Yeah, so that's the same thing. والحنابلة, the Hanbali school, إذا تعمد استنشاق البخول ووصل إلى حلقه أفطر. Right? أفطر. So it's also close. It's also close to the opinion. It's also close to the opinion of the Maliki and the Hanafi school. So basically, in a nutshell, the Maliki school, the Hanafi school, and the Hanbali school, they all agree if you take deep breaths, then it does. And that's what they differ with the Shafi school. Okay?
Jazakallah khairan.
I wanted to give the 4 opinions instead of just one opinion.
No, that's great. Because
You know,
I think like I've had like there's a couple different teachers of different madahib, so that's really helpful, seriously. So Jazakallah
yeah,
khairan.
because
Yeah.
I like the idea of putting all like in
Yeah.
these kind of questions, all the madhabs, for the sake of not just saying one opinion and ignoring the other opinions.
Right.
And also it shows that among the madhabs, some of them agree. Like here we say, oh, the majority, 3-1, or the Shafis are by themselves. No, it's just 3 opinions. Don't take it, don't take it like that, okay? But
Well, right.
No,
no,
I'm just noticing in this, like when you go to some masjids, when you go in to make wudu into the in the hammam, people have it burning, especially and because there's a lot of people going in and out, so they try to keep some whatever
yeah.
entry in your wudu. So that's why I say sometimes they, burn it, but you're not going there to smell it. I mean, you go there.
No, you're going to make wudu, that's fine. Yeah. The thing also you have to consider that, look, if you're burning it, right, you take account for it. If you go into the masjid and you ended up in a masjid and they're burning it, then just go with the Shafi position. Khalas, don't that's the, like, if you are doing it yourself, then you go by the position that you follow, right? If you follow the Hanafi school, alhamdulillah, follow that, right? Like you could put light, like let's say you put it usually an hour. This time I'm just gonna put it 10 minutes, right? Just 10 minutes, just for the thing. I mean, I usually do that, and when I come to my office, I don't burn. I just put the free commercial. Sister Shireen, make sure you tell Sister Reem. Sister Reem has these in the store. This is oud mood, and it smells really good. So you can smell it. Says brother, it's not gonna break our fast.
Well, we're not fasting now. It's at night.
I know, right? Listen, it's bright in this office. Sometimes when you're here, you lose track of time, right? So these are, alhamdulillah. So there's just one. I'm gonna summarize it briefly. A person, a person who needs to make up, a person who needs to make up the fast. It is best to try to make it up right away. Is it sinful to delay it? No, it's not. Right? Aisha, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, said, I was not able to make up the fast right away, so I will make it up in the month of Sha'ban. So she will combine with the virtue of the month of Sha'ban and make the days that she missed during that time. If a person out of negligence does not make them up, they still have to make them up. But they also have to pay for every day of feeding. That's like the penalty for delaying it. Okay? They also have to feed, right, for every day, right, for delaying it. And it is disliked to delay it, like, and reach the other Ramadan, right? So you have a year, even if you do one a month, right? But the most important thing is that you have that time to make it up, and you can do it. You can intend, like, let's say the day of Arafat, you missed the day. I want to intend to see in the Shafi school, you can combine intentions, like let's say somebody's praying Sunnah, right, and you're praying Fard, but you came late and you don't want to pray alone. You can join the person praying Sunnah. You just tap them and follow with them, right? But he's praying Sunnah, you're praying Fard. In the Shafi school is okay. In the Hanafi school is not, because his intention is Sunnah, and he already prayed a Fard Salah. So there shouldn't be like two Fard Salah back to back, right? So, but that's just if you ever. So I'm saying like in fasting, you can do that. Say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make up one of the days in the day of Arafat, get the blessings of the day of Arafat, and make up my day of Ramadan, right? Because I'm not gonna, at least it's like in it's easier. In the day of Ashura, the 10th of Muharram, I'm gonna make it up there, right? I'm gonna make it up, let's say in Rabiul Awwal on a Monday, thinking about the day that the Prophet ﷺ was born, right? The Prophet used to fast on Mondays. And they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, why do you fast on Monday? He said, this is the day that I was born, that Allah created me, Allah allowed me to be born, right? So, but the best thing is to not delay it and reach Ramadan and you owe some days. That's the best. That's the best thing.
So
All
the
right.
question, so the question with that, if you was to stop, do the celebration, Eid is in, and then you plan to do 6 nights of Shawwal. If you did them during the 6 nights of Shawwal, you're not doubling down where I'm making them up and doing 6 nights of Shawwal.
No, because those 6 days, whatever's missing is missing.
Right. So
The 6 days, if you do the 6 days of Shawwal, that's like you're fasting the whole year, right?
right.
So you still have 6 days missing or 5 days, right?
So
So
you couldn't make up your days in Shawwal.
you could just intend to do it. إنما الأعمال بالنيات. Again,
So if you're missing 4 days, let's say.
you can make it up right away when
So
you're
if
in
you
that,
and
when
you
your
did
body's in
10,
that.
yeah, and then you do 10 days of 10 nights of Shawwal.
You could do 10 nights. That's
You
fine.
gotta make them up in you still
Yeah.
full year. Okay.
Yeah. So the things, the thing is like if someone, uh, like after Ramadan, it becomes a little bit more hard, difficult. So
Yeah.
that's why it's better to do it right away, get over it,
Mhm.
right? It's better to mark it down. That's what you owe, right? Oh, I'm gonna give you another question. Somebody, a relative of yours, fasting in the month of Ramadan, passed away in Ramadan, and they were fasting, right? They were fasting and they died on the 20th of Ramadan. So they're missing maybe 9 days or 10 days.
But their intentions was to do the full, so they're gonna get for the full.
The question
Okay.
is, the question is,
Okay.
do we make up the fast for them?
No.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Wow.
Because the person was already engaged and the person was already engaged in that fasting, and therefore that fasting is considered like a loan to Allah, and the loan to Allah should be paid. If a person intends in the beginning of the year, that's a different story. But if a person is already fasting, they made the intention, and they already like the intention, like they promised to fast in Ramadan, right? Then a person that's a wali for them or a wakil for them, or let's say a son or somebody that can be their witness, right, in a wedding or something like that, then that person would make it up for them. وَدَيْنُ اللَّهِ أَحَقُّ أَن تُقْضَى. That's the hadith. وَدَيْنُ اللَّهِ أَحَقُّ أَن تُقْضَى. And the deen of Allah is the one that deserves that's the most deserving to be made up.
Mm.
Right? Not to counter you, Brother Rashid. It's just
No. I'm
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to learn
But
the
this
because like if your intentions is to fast the month of Ramadan
Mhm.
and you doing this, you're in Rajab and you're already thinking, I'm going to do Shaban, I'm going to do Ramadan, you on the flow, you grooving. Now
Mm.
in Ramadan, you do 20 days and God forbid something happen, you pass away. Those 10 days you owe and somebody have to make
You get the reward for your intention.
okay.
But
Okay.
it's like, for example, like you got a loan and you intended to pay it. You got a loan and you intend to pay it in Shawwal, the day after Eid, let's say. And you died in Ramadan. You get the reward for and you made the effort. You made the intention, and you were making the effort, and Allah decreed that you died. You still have to. Somebody of your relative has to pay that loan. You understand?
Oh, you remember the saying, the dead man's debts are paid? Yeah.
Not in Islam, bro. I'm gonna let's see. Oh yeah, it's this time, so I won't be able to get you the hadith, but inshallah.
We'll come back because I got to make salat also.
Yes, inshallah. بارك الله فيكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.